So first of all, I'm going to drag the sphere out. We're going to turn it into an editable poly, then head into the geometry, divide it a couple of times. This much is enough, 2.8 million. I'm going to bring it down a notch, around 520,000. Next thing, we're going to perform a masking. Just click and drag the entire thing out. It's perfect. So now we would need a alpha, drag rectangle, and you could just pick any type of alpha you like since we need to make holes in the mask. I'm going to pick up alpha 48. And the reason for picking alpha 48 is if you see these alphas, I picked 48. Well, 48 has like a perfect spherical render, while these other ones they have a blurry edge. Meaning if I use these for subtraction, they would leave behind the blurry effect. Alternatively, you can use these alphas too, like alpha 12, 13, and 14. So for your ease of access, I'm just going to choose alpha 13 so it's easier for you guys. Now we have this ready. We're going to clear our mask for now. First of all, we need to shape it like a head. For that, we will do some scaling like this. See it from the side. It doesn't matter if how thick it is or so, but still I'm going to thin it out a little. So the consistency of the face, it's like an actual face mask. I'm going to reduce the width and the height up just a little bit so it looks round like this. Now you see it looks like a mask shape, like you can make a mask right on top of it. So back to draw mode, flip on the side, control and drag it out. Oh yeah, I forgot I have the mask on. I would remove the alpha temporarily. Okay, yeah, sorry, my bad. So I'm just gonna apply it right here. So yeah, this portion is masked. So now you could turn on Google or anything to look for an actual reference. For example, I'm going to just open Google and I'm actually going to pick, well, yeah, Jason Voorhees mask. Jason Voorhees. Okay, I accidentally typed Boar. I'll just say mask. Okay, so I'm searching Jason Voorhees mask. You can see these references. You could just look any of them. I really don't need to create the mask exactly how it is. I just need to count the holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. 4 here, 3 on the forehead, 3 on the cheek, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these. So I'm going to create these 4 first. Again, it doesn't matter if they come out as accurate or not. So I'm going to position it right here. Hold down Control, pick our alpha 13, turn symmetry on. Okay, symmetry is on. Holding Control and Alt. The reason I'm holding Alt because I need to make some subtractions, and make sure your mask size is, your brush size is as small as possible. Again, the offset is a bit off. So instead of sometimes like I am left-handed, so I'm keeping it here, it's looking a bit like off, like you could see it. Like it looks as if the mouse is not centered, like the dot. So instead of doing this, sometimes just shift your side. Like I'm left-handed, I'm using it here. Instead, I'll use it like a right-handed. But by that, I do not mean that I'm actually going to use it with the right hand. What I mean is just move your cursor to the opposite side. Now, if you see, they're looking a bit symmetrical, like actual symmetry, like it's positioned here, and on the opposite side, it's looking equal exactly on that position. So anyways, Alt, make sure when you press Alt, the mask word, it has a minus with it. Because in masking, the Z add and Z sub don't work. So those are for sculpting. Anyways, I'm going to drag these out. And don't worry if they're looking blurry. Nothing to worry about. Yeah, I made the holes a bit too big. We need them to be actually smaller. So Control Alt, And this size is okay. Control Alt. I'm just gonna keep drawing these on. And we can add 2 more here if you want. You could leave these 2 and it's not necessary to actually follow this design I'm doing. Again, remember the practice I told you. We're gonna go into masking, sharpen mask. You see as I hit sharpen mask, that blurry offset, which was due to the alpha because the boundaries of the alpha, that's gone. So once it's gone, I'm just going to switch back to my Google tab. Oh, sorry, my bad. My docked palette on the side closed for some reason. No trace can be closed. Oh, okay, double click. I forgot. Okay. Well, I double clicked it and for some reason, yeah, it's gone. So, yeah, my palette on the side, which one were docked? I'll just change the stupid interface. Okay, it's back. So anyways, it's back. I'm just gonna go back to Google and you saw I created 5 holes instead of 4, but you could actually copy this exactly. I'm going to give it 3 on the side. Control Alt. So these here, I'm just gonna make these here. These ones right here. And these here, again, you can keep the size consistent and follow it. I'm not actually going to make it really accurate. It's just a basic tutorial to show you how you can make. You can use it to create your own mask too. So this much is done. I'm going to go back to Google. I don't know if my Google screen is being recorded or not. So if it's not being recorded, you can just look it up on Google. I'll send you the picture I used as the reference, okay? Now we're going to create 3 more dots on the cheeks. So basically this is the forehead, okay? There are going to be 2 big eyes here. You just create them before if you want to, like if you really want to. Just do it like this. And don't worry, we will scale it and stuff, so don't really worry much about it. Again, sharpen mask, hitting it, you see that blurry effect goes away. Because, oh sorry, I shrinked it, sorry, sharpen, yeah. I accidentally hit shrink mask. Anyways, I'm switching back to my Google tab again. I'm gonna give it some cheeks, cheek holes like the mask has. Control Alt, and I'm gonna create these holes here, these here, and these here. Okay, again, sharpen mask, yeah, all good. And I'm just gonna go into geometry and just increase the subdivision level. Okay, so basically when we will extract it, it will be actually really high quality, but even if I do perform a mesh extraction just like this, it's gonna be okay. But if I actually zoom in, yeah, it's not that good quality. So we will need to make some adjustments. I'll cover it up in this entire video, so don't worry. I'll go back. Now we need these actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, we need these now. So they're like in this pattern. I'm just gonna make them like this. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to Control Z this last one because it's not necessary you keep your cursor right on top of that one. You could leave a bit of distance, come up here, and as you drag it on, it's going to cover up the distance automatically for size and all. Again, 4, 5. One more thing, if you're not sure where you're drawing, always rotate the model. There's nothing to hesitate about it, and you can leave them blurry like this too. They will look good, but the way I sharpen these too much, like they're too much sharpened. On the other hand, these are a bit less sharpened, so these would be a bit smoother when I perform the mesh extraction, and I would need to use the smooth brush on these, but still, it's no big deal. Like, not really, not much of a big deal. Alternatively, even if you hit just sharpen mask once, you see that blurry goes away, but these are still soft. On the other hand, they're too rough, but I need to keep them even, like all of them the same, so I'll just go ahead and make them all look the same. One more thing, these new ones will be sharpened, and these ones are already at their limit, so they won't sharpen that much. Again, you can shrink it a bit. Oh, sorry, I did double shrink, Control Z. Okay, this looks okay. This looks okay too. Okay, it's perfect. So yeah, now you see I have this Jason Voorhees mask drawn out. Now the good thing about ZBrush is that you can actually perform this Again, you can look any mask, literally, like even a crow one, just to make a base shape, like a base shape, then sculpt these on. I'm just masking it. I'm satisfied with it, yes. It has no nose, we will sculpt it, don't worry. Let's go into subtool, extract. Again, first of all, just hit extract by default to see how your mask looks. Again, remember the yellow line, don't worry about it. It happens the first time. What it's doing is going to apply micro polish on your existing mesh so the extraction looks smooth and the unmasked areas, they won't be extracted. So to fill them up, it's actually going to perform Boolean. If you don't know what a Boolean is, it's basically like subtracting one shape from another. The ZBrush has that option too. It's called live Booleans. I'll teach them to you, but for now, let's just focus it. Okay, it's done. You see, it has extracted it. I'm just going to temporarily hit accept. The reason I hit accept is because if you move it around, it disappears. So I'm going to go up to my subtool list right here. I'm going to turn my base mesh off so you can see the shape of the mask. Now, if you're satisfied with this mask, you can continue working with this, or simply go here if you just needed to see it. Like if the mask is too thick, like for example, I don't need it to be this thick. This is the thing I was telling you about. You see, it performed booleans because it needed geometry here because it was masked. So it applied it, you see? This is it. Like these are actually hard surfaces. So I can just use my smoothen brush with my symmetry on, like increasing. Of course, I've zoomed in and I'm doing it up close. That ruined it off a bit because the mask is too thick. I can alternatively just do this, like on all of them, including the eyes hole inside, like these. Like see the eye holes, they actually got softened up. Then I can invert the mask and soften out the outer boundaries, the skin near it. Basically, yeah, it is skin. Well, it's mask, but like this is like a geometry, like an actual sculpt. So we decide what it's going to be, whether a skin or a mask. Now you see the eyes, like ignore the rest. Of course, I messed up those upper ones. These one, ignore here, okay, where my brush is. But if you look at the eyes now, they're looking pretty good. But remember, we inverted the mask. This area is still masked. If I invert it again, you see this empty area? Yeah, that's still unmasked, but it's still masked right there. You could just soften it to like give it shape because not everything needs to be sculpted. Sometimes you just need to know a basic technique. Now you see, it's looking nice. The eyes look nice. Anyways, we are not going to keep this mask though. Like just I'm gonna hit delete. Okay, don't worry, our mask still exists, you see? Because we never cleared the mask of our base mesh, so we could just extract it again. Anyways, I'm going to turn this double button off because by default, it's going to always extract a double-sided surface. If the double is off, I'm just going to show it to you, okay? Double-sided means that boolean on the back side, okay? Again, it's going to apply micro polish. This will take some time. So depending on your hardware, it could vary from time to time because micro polishing could be faster because as you can see, I'm already working with over 2 million polygons. We can perform retopology and then paint it and all, but before doing that, you must bake your maps, okay? Yeah, you see it's done now. I'm just gonna hit accept again. I hit it accept. Double-sided surfaces mean it's like in double in length. It's like two masks, like the mask height is double, like this is one and then another one right under it too, like one and two. Now, if you look here, it's performed a mesh extraction and our mask here, it has 1.7 million polygons and the total scene has 3.782 million now. That's because if you look at this here, as I load it up, I'm going to hide this mask I just extracted. This over here already had 2.08 million polygons. So you could just delete it now if you want to, but again, we will redefine a bit of things. We still need to. I'm going to turn the wireframe on. Yeah, so I'm just going to clear up the mask. You guys could assign it a new polygroup if you want to change the color, but I only need to preview this for now. Yep, equal topology. The topology is great. This could be remeshed. like, yeah, this is ready. It's already ready. It's like a game ready asset. You see, equal quad topology. Okay, so this is good. This is actually good. I'm gonna delete it, and now let's just focus it on it. Now you see we can't see our mask. Oh, it was on the other side. Okay, I thought because the polyframe is on. So because of that, anyways, I'm just gonna close that. Our mask is ready right here. Again, you can create any type of style you want. You can give it creases, you can give it cracks here or so. If my Google screen recorded with it, you could view it. Else I will drop some reference images with the video so you can see. Anyways, I'm just going to go right here. This thing is the surface smoothness. Basically, it's going to tell you how smooth it is. By default, the value is 5. We exited the double. We don't need it. T border means it's going to like give it a T-shaped border, which is like it's going to actually make it a thin border, and you can make the corner quads to tries. Basically, the corner quads mean this boundary is going to be triangulated, and that's a good technique sometimes. Even the insides could be triangulated, but we're just gonna leave that for now. We don't need to triangulate it for now. You can work with it. Remember, the double is like, it's like 2-in-1 mask. Like, it's gonna be the double of your masking. Anyways, and thickness. Like, our mask is 0.02. Now, this value could vary a lot. I'm just gonna make it 0.02. And now if I extract it, you guys will see it will be actually pretty thinner, like a lot thinner. But remember, this value 0.02 is actually a lot bigger because that mask I extracted, it was actually a pretty large value. So I'm just gonna let it apply micro polish again one more time. I know because each time you'll delete your mesh and you hit accept, it's going to keep applying micro polish over and over, but I'm just gonna show you how you can check your mesh without the micro polish thing. Again, you'll have to wait. Okay, now you see it looks really thin. Now don't worry, if I hit extract again, it's just gonna smoothen the mesh. Micro polishing would be quicker this time, don't worry. And nope, screw ZBrush. It used to be better in the older versions, now it's just a power hungry junk. Anyways, waiting for the extraction again. You guys can alternatively reduce your polygon count to make it work faster. Again, it's gonna take a while, so I'm just gonna let it do its thing. And it's done. You see, it's really thin. The mask is really thin. I don't need it this thin. So it was 0.2, right? Like 0.02. You could make it 0.01, like half the height of it, and increase the smoothness. I'll set this from 5 to 7 and hit extract. This is like more than enough. This is enough for us to work with. One more thing, since it's a mask, you don't want to make it way too thin, because I'll show it to you in a bit why we don't want to make our mask thin. Now don't confuse both, okay? Masking is this black mask we applied. It's used to actually mask stuff because you cannot sculpt on it or paint or make any changes on it. However, if you subdivide the entire geometry, it would be applied to the masked areas too. So be careful about that. You can't really sculpt, paint, or apply fibers on it. Fiber is that fur I showed you. Anyways, this much is done. Yeah, we're okay with this. Anyways, I'll just hit accept. I'm gonna hit accept. I'm gonna go here. We don't need this one no longer. I'm deleting it, and yeah, I deleted it. Now we're seen as 1.7 million polygons. This is still a lot of like a high polygon count. You could actually fit an entire game level in this much. Well, not even an entire game level, but like a huge level. At least like really detailed ones. So as on my previous one, now you see this mask is a bit thinner. The previous thickness was good, but we're just gonna work with this because I need to cover up some important stuff, which you will learn right now. Again, zoom it out, increase the brush size, press them here. This is gonna soften the rings on the inside. Move them in a circular motion with it, okay? Again, you can also, like, they're already super small. You can reduce the intensity a bit to like to 70 or 80, or even lesser so they come out nice. Okay, yeah, I was saving the, we already smoothened these because symmetry is on, so they're done equally. We'll smoothen them out like a little bit more. Be careful, if you press in an empty space and do it, it starts that docking thing, like the alignment docking, so be careful about that. That could be annoying from time to time. Now you see they're looking a bit good. Still, they're imperfect up close. They're not that perfect. We will make them perfect in a bit. Anyways, I'm gonna reduce my brush size. I don't need a brush that large for holes up close. If I had zoomed out, that would have been okay. Yeah, smoothen these, smoothen this too, this as well, and this one as well. Yeah, a mistake was done. This one right here, you can make some other changes. I'll show you. Invert the mask. I'm gonna switch to the inflate brush. Make sure the intensity is low, around 3 or 2. Just come over here, gently inflate it, then smoothen it out, then inflate it, then smoothen it, then inflate it. Yeah, this much is enough. Okay, looks okay right there. Anyways, we inverted the mask, or did I clear it? Wait a second, I'll redo it. Okay, hold up, no. Back to this step. I do not want to clear the mask, instead I'll invert it. I inverted the mask, inflate brush is still there. Yeah. Now I'm doing that. Yeah, now it's a bit better actually. Okay, looks okay, right? Yeah, this much is okay. Now just soften it around the borders like this, around each one of them, okay? I'm gonna zoom it out, increase the size, shift, and do it. Again, the previous masks I made, they were a lot better. This one I'm not making it detailed on purpose because this is just like a base tutorial. Still, I'll cover all the techniques, then you could actually take your own time and make it, like actually make your own style mask. You can even copy this one, but make sure just Google like Jason Voorhees mask. You can look them on Amazon or any site because people even sell these. Like you could, if you have a 3D printer, you could actually 3D print this. Anyways, this much is okay. Yeah, this part is here is annoying me. I'll just zoom in a lot, zoom out, inflate it from the side. Okay, invert the mask again, inflating the sides like this. Yeah, so now I'm gonna just zoom it out. Okay, this one actually, hey, it came out pretty good. So I don't know if my screen is being recorded, the Google one, I mean, but if it is, you can see like it came out pretty good. Again, you can try to like copy the eyes by masking it exactly the same way. Now we're gonna do a little sculpting. So I'm just gonna remove the mask entirely. You see we got this nice little mask on the inside, it's okay. But ZBrush actually has a disadvantage with it because I'll show it to you. Let's say I take the standard brush BST. Okay, no, sorry. Skip until the next one. Wait, BST. Okay, now as you're familiar with, the standard brush always deform the geometry, right? I'm gonna perform a little sculpt here. You could actually see the deformation forming. Yeah, that's like, this is like basic knowledge. Everybody knows it who have used it. That the standard brush, it just like takes one surface and just pushes it out. But it was like a humanoid sculpt or a sphere. Think of it just like a sphere because we actually extracted it from a sphere and it's cut in half, but we can see both sides because it's rendering on both sides. So again, if we try to sculpt here, we're just gonna give it a nose-like shape. Okay, yeah, the intensity is too high. I keep forgetting I don't have a touch pen, so I don't have the tablet, neither a Wacom pen, so keep our intensity as low as possible. You're not able to see it right now, but it's actually gonna sculpt. Okay, yeah, that was maybe too freaking low. I'll go back, turn it to 4. Okay, 4 is okay. Again, alternatively, you can set it off. Yeah, 4 is okay. 4 is working for me. You could just shape the nose on your own or just give it this light little bulge like I did. If you can see it from here, the bulge looks okay. Again, we can increase the bulge to the top two, like this, like an actual nose. But this much is enough. I'm just gonna make its sides a bit thicker, so they're pushed outside. Yeah, now you see the bulgy curve? That does work. I'll smoothen this out a little. Okay, it looks great. This much again, yeah, I know I messed it up a little. It's not as accurate as my older masks I made. Right, let me see if I still have them. I'm not going to load them up really. I'm just going to see if I still have them here. Okay, no, but I have this death mask project I did of Darksiders. This one right here, the Mask of Death. Ignore the rest of them. They're just trashy projects I never completed. I just have these. Yeah, ignore all of this. Anyways, yeah, this is the recent one we just did right now, right here. And you might be able to see this one right here. Yeah, this one. It's actually detailed. I'll put a screenshot of this too. Anyways, I'm just gonna leave this right here. You can see. Yeah, I messed the bulge up. Again, you can be just careful and do it. Or you know what? I'll just redo it. Never mind. Come here, reduce the brush size, set intensity to shade. Just like that. Increase the size. Make sure it's centered. Yeah, like this. Okay. Yep. Now just center it out. It's smooth. Soften it up. Okay, yeah, the bulge of the nose. Yeah, now it's looking okay. Again, you can make it more detailed like I did my earlier masks. Anyways, like you guys get the basic idea now. So you could see it. We have our Jason Voorhees mask. Time to texture it. So one more thing during texturing, you need to make sure, like, I'm going to give it a basic material. Pick a base material, the one you really need. I would recommend using this one. This is for skeleton and bones. Once you choose it, turn the add off, head into the color palette. Basically, we're gonna need to choose fill object gradient, fill layer, and all that stuff. Again, just hit fill object. It's actually going to apply it, but we also need it. We're gonna pick M, and also, sorry, yeah, we're actually gonna apply this material. Go here and hit fill object. The object is filled, meaning if I change the material in the previewer, it won't change despite, like, I literally select this framer. It won't change. It won't goddamn change. Another thing, I'm just gonna hit Control Z temporarily. Now it changed. I'm just gonna go back to map skeleton. I'm going to load that material. Wait up. Load. I'm going to load that cartoon shader I made. Okay, I loaded up. Now you see, this is what I was covering up. You see, it looks cartoony. And yeah, the shader, you actually need to draw the details. Now you remember we just sculpted the nose, but the nose, the detail, it's being produced as a shadow. So you need to actually texture it. And if you know how to paint, you can actually paint it. Literally paint it like a comic book art style sketch. Because the shadows do let you know there's a curve here like this. Like it's forming the nose curve. But we haven't given it any colors. We will use this later. Back to the bone. Where was it? Where did the bone one go? Okay, this is quite a pain sometimes. The materials goddamn disappear. Where's the stupid bone? I'll just use this one instead anyways. Ah, this is a pain. Where did the goddamn bone shader go? Okay, this is freaking annoying when this happens. ZBrush is shit now. It used to be better. Anyways, I'm gonna hit Control Z. I'll just keep it right here. I switch to a different material. So since we cannot find it, let's work with Skin Shade. Skin Shade 4. And yeah, the base material is filled on it, I guess. Oh yeah, the stupid M was on. I didn't saw it. Okay, yeah, I went back. Okay, yeah, it got removed. It got applied because the M material applier was on. I didn't saw that coming. Okay, right here. And the shader was filled there. Okay, so this is all perfect now. We're gonna work with just Skin Shade 4. Now remember, sometimes we will paint it or just to actually give it some fake depth. It has a color applied on it. Oh no, it actually doesn't have it. Again, now I'm gonna turn it off. M, color, fill object. Okay, turn M off. Now it has a base color, so if you need to actually give it some cracks or stuff, you can give them. You can use normal maps by doing the UV scanning and all. We're not gonna do that in this tutorial. I'm just gonna pick it this Alpha 60 Z sub and RGB on with black color. You see when I sculpt, it's actually going to paint. It's painting it. It's actually painting on top of it. But it's also sculpting very low because the intensity is Z sub. I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually carving inside of it. But as it carves inside, if you look on the backside, the paint is being applied on the backside too. That's a different thing. But now I'll actually show it to you what is actually happening and why it ruins your sculpt. And the mask is already so thin. The reason I kept it thin, I'm going to cover it up now. Okay, paint, white, plain, same as the object. So the alpha I'm going to pick up, where the hell did it go? Okay, this is annoying. Oh, I found it, never mind. Z sub on, increase intensity a bit. Turn it off. I turn symmetry off. One more thing, drag rectangle. So as I drag it on, okay, yeah, the RGB was black. I'm gonna need to invert the colors. Okay, now it's gonna be white, the same shade. I don't need to. Okay, yeah, it's being happen. Oh, I already have Z sub. Sorry, my bad. Okay, this is frustrating. Okay, yeah, now it's gonna work. Okay, so as I subtracted, now these cracks are not as good as my original masks. Again, that does not matter how the cracks are looking. You see, they're actually being engraved on the other side. This is a problem which would happen. Like, okay, the mask has some the mask. Like, if it was a bit thicker, okay, it has cuts on the outer side. That's understandable. Or you could just pick up the try ones. Where are the try ones? There were like 3 lines. I really can't goddamn. Okay, I'll just pick these up and just drag these out. Yeah, you see, yes, these are cracks. Okay, that's understandable. But they're also being etched on the other side. This is a problem. And before I show you how to solve this, I'll just cover one thing up. Now, as I told you before, you people actually have to use the paint. Like, I'll just come here, choose a black color, I apply the black, and now when I carve it, you see, yeah, now it's looking a bit detailed, right? Yeah, the carves are here, but the color is actually putting life into it. So you see that it's also going to appear on the other side. We don't really need that dent on the inside. So to do that, you simply have to go inside your brush palette. Once you're inside your brush palette, you could see we have a couple of options like the clip brush modifiers, alpha textures, tablet pressure. You're going to go into auto masking. Once you're inside auto masking, you can see the backface mask, okay? Backface auto mask. I needed to actually turn that on. Once you turn it on, what it's going to do is it's basically going to still sculpt. Your brush will sculpt. It will. You can add noise on the surface too. This, well, you can, but you know what? Just leave the noise part out for now. I'll cover it up in a separate tutorial. Just go inside your brush palette, find the, where the hell did it go? Yeah, the auto masking, and simply just go right here on the back face mask. Just turn it on, like just a click. That's it. So I'm gonna go back to the white color, the plain one. I'm going to perform a low sculpt here. Now you see it actually won't, you see it does not appear on the back side now. You see it did carve, yeah. The carving appeared on the front side, but this did not appear on the back side. The reason it also sculpts on the back side is because remember when we mask something like this, hold up, I'll show it to you why this happens in ZBrush. Okay, wait, I forgot I need to remove the alpha. Okay. The reason it happens when I apply a mask like this. Okay, I applied this mask. You see it happens on both sides. So the auto masking thing, it also sculpts on both sides is because it needs to cover up the entire center layer. You see it's thin, it's incredibly thin, but still it has somewhat thickness. It still has some thickness. So to cover up that thickness, this happens. Again, if you're just satisfied with the sculpt, you can just import it into 3ds Max or something else. or even Blender, you can then perform a UVW scanning and apply your textures map. So now it's done. You're not actually going to engrave the details on it right now. No, we won't. We need to paint it. Since we need to paint it, first of all, pick a material. We already have our material selected. Okay, let me see more skin shades. We could just pick sketch shaded 3. Okay, that much is done. We need to make our mask craft. BPA, I'm gonna pick up the paintbrush. Pick up spray, or you can use color spray too if you want. And let's make the mask dirty. Pick up alpha 7. Alpha 7 is on. Then pick up a blackish color, any of them. I'm picking up this one. You can see the RGB coordinates 73, 64, 64. 73 for the red, 64 green, 64 blue. Reduce intensity. You see the alpha is actually helping it happen. Now hold shift. Oh, sorry, my bad. I messed up. I messed up a little. Wait. Okay, right here. Okay. Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. Get back right here. Shift is basically the softening brush though. Yeah, nothing else is gonna change. It's only gonna soften that up. Oh no, it's actually softening the geometry with it too. So yeah, make sure your Z add is off when using the smooth brush. It won't actually affect your geometry. It's only gonna smoothen the paint. You see, it's looking dirty and rough now. It looks actually dirty and rough. Just like this, you could create your own unique pattern too. Like this, just keep doing that. There you have it. So we have made it. Again, if you have that bone material, I actually loaded a custom one and the stupid bone material disappeared. Maybe it replaced the bone one, but if you close ZBrush and reload it, it's just gonna be okay normally. The bone would have been better anyways. Hell with it. So you see, yeah, we did made it a bit dirty. This much is okay. The areas now I left off. I'm gonna pick a grayish color. I'm just changing the RGB. Okay, this looks okay. I'm just gonna make it a lightish gray color. A bit dark. Okay, perfect. You can see the coordinates 106.11.113 for the RGB. Again, you can simply just dock this palette right here. Or yeah, it got docked right there. So we docked it. You can just adjust the RGB sliders to just just type these values, the ones I'm showing you to here. This palette is a shortcut of this entire palette. Here you even have modifiers, like you could literally create your own colors using these. You get everything inside it. You even have the system palette, this old classic if you've been using Windows XP for so long. And you can see, yeah, it is definitely a shade of gray. Anyways, back to so I'm just picking Alpha 23. Yeah, I'm adding this. You see that? It's adding more consistency to that. The empty areas, the boundaries, which were left off. Yeah, this actually looks like a dark speck of stains. You could actually make it like a rust too, picking up a brown color or dust or anything if you're like familiar with stains. This is just gonna cover it up. You see, it's actually adding consistency to the mask, making it look, yeah, now it's looking actually dirty. It's looking actually dirty by looking at it if you see it. Now you see, remember, never just use a single color, use combinations. You see, now it looks actually dirty, yeah. It's actually looking dirty, like, yeah, this was a white hockey mask, now it's looking dirty. Hold shift, smoothen it. Don't smoothen this too much, okay? Just a little bit. Leave that dark, like you see, the gray stains. Make sure they're visible. Don't completely smoothen it, like just hold shift and keep stroking it. Don't do that. Just hold shift, a stroke, just a click, As you click, make sure you stroke down with the click like an actual paintbrush. Again, if you have a Wacom pen or those graphic tablets, you wouldn't really have a problem with it. So again, I'll just do it. The mask looks dirty and great. Make sure to cover all of it up. Again, you can just leave the stains too, but the reason I'm not leaving the stains is because I'm actually going to use it for blood stains. Just doing that, I'm going to do this. Okay, perfect. I think this much is enough. Now you actually look at it from both sides. Yeah, that's dirty enough. The reason I did not sculpt it those first, because if I did that paint, like I'm just going to give you an example. For example, like let's say I need to add the blood, like like I'm just painting it. I'm adding this color up here. Okay, suppose this color is actually the scar lines I was going to add. Okay, and then I paint the base color on top of it, this white. You see, it's overriding that layer. It's like that one would have been erased, the details would have gone, then I would have to manually paint it, and the line is extremely thin, so that would have had been possible because it would still look shit and ugly. So I really didn't want it to ruin it. Anyways, that much is done. Now what we're gonna do is simply just go, ow, okay, we're gonna add blood. We're going to actually add blood, but before adding blood, let's just add the details now. Choose the drag stroke, make the drag rectangle, pick up alpha 60, make sure the color is black. You can pick a lighter grayish color or black. I'm gonna pick solid black. 000. You can also do it from the color palette. Yeah, the 000 is black. 255, 255, 255 is white. You can pick any specific shade of black too. Let's just pick 16. That's still black, and you won't notice much of a difference. We're gonna keep it here. Make sure your auto back mask thing is on, okay? The one I covered up. Okay, yeah, the reason it's not looking that detailed is also because, well, the reason behind it is the intensity. Increase the intensity, the paint intensity. It's happening, okay, but it's only painting it. Why? It's not etching the details in, so it's looking unrealistic and fake. Turn it on, the Z sub. It's now actually going to use the paintbrush to paint those details in and also etch these. But if you look at that, the paintbrush also, it's actually doing it on the backside. Why? Because each brush has their own property. You will need to go into the brush palette again. And where's auto masking? This brush can do directional and all. It does not have the back masking feature. So we would actually need to enable it again. You see? Because each brush has a separate property. Now I did it. Now if I sculpt it again, see? Nothing happens on the back side. It's only doing it on the front. Same goes for the paint. Okay, the paint is appearing on the inner side. So yeah, that's my bad. I didn't notice it earlier, but like for example, I just turned it on before I was sculpting it on the other side too. But you guys get the idea. You can just turn that back masking on for each brush you switch between. You can paint with the standard brush too, okay? Don't worry about specifically using this paintbrush just because of me. Anyways, I'm going to add these scars here, like actual carvings, and the carving continues. So to match it, you can just add these match. You can adjust the angle or just to make the focal shift softer, or just like adjust it according to this. Wait, Control Z. Make sure they match and then just keep enlarging it. Yeah, like this. You see, now it looks more natural. It's looking a bit more natural, and on the other side it does not do it. It's not sculpting on the other side. Yeah, like that. No, now this looks a bit fake. I'll just add them here. Yeah, and okay, no, I messed up. I'm gonna reduce it. Yeah, these look okay. Like rough cracks. Yeah, this looks a bit better now. Again, it's entirely up to you. This mask is not as detailed as my older ones, but yeah, now it's looking a bit cheap. I'll just remove them. Screw these lines. Okay, this looks okay. Yeah, this much is okay. So, anyways, now you see this paint, all the other paint is on the back side. Uh, that one did not happen on the other side, so you get the idea. Anyways, congratulations. Now you know how to sculpt a mask using the mesh extraction. Another thing, using the same masking, you could create clothes, boots, shirts, everything using the same technique. It's entirely up to you what you sculpt. Okay, so now this much is done. Simply now pick this up if you need to. Where did it go? Where the hell is it? Alpha 22. Sculpt it here like this, or just near the eye edge. You could just make it really enlarged. This will affect the geometry, however, it's not sculpting on the other side. That's because the mask is extremely thin. If I turn it on this angle, you can see this too, like it's overlapping it a little, but it's unnoticeable. However, deep cracks like this deforming the geometry itself. Don't use these, okay, too much on this. I would recommend using textures and normal maps. You can bake normals in ZBrush too, that's a separate tutorial. So for now, this much like small cracks like this, okay, this looks great. And then adding one here, like it's making it look like he was like hit here or something. Yeah, it looks decent. Yeah, it's a decent mask, okay. Now it's looking decent. Now time to add the blood and stuff. So simply, same thing, color spray. Pick alpha 7 first. Dark red. You can use a full 255, 255, 255 red. I would recommend using the, where's the 255? I would recommend using 15300. It just looks a bit more, again, you can use it. Make the RGB a bit sharper. Just keep it 100, okay. Yeah, now, first of all, let's look. Yeah, it's actually giving it a normal map like depth. We don't need the Z sub, do we? So again, now yeah, this actually does make it look like a normal map one because this blood stain is without it, and that one is with it. So let's just keep the Z sub on, but we're just gonna pat it like, you know how there's far below? Then we will actually just paint the color on top. We're just gonna leave this like freckles. You know, like how our skin has freckles in some depth. Like freckles, we just do a single click, like single click, little stroke, okay? Like that. Again, single click, little stroke. Just like these. Just don't really do this, okay? This is going to ruin the geometry, and yeah, they're going to overlap. Don't do that, okay? Just make sure tiny click, just a little drag, yeah, like that. It's like, think of it this way, like you have an actual paintbrush, and it's wet, and you're throwing off drops on your canvas. 3ds Max is basic, not 3ds Max, sorry, ZBrush is basically designed so you can actually sculpt your entire model, character, whatever. It also has its own 2D mode, as if you're just like painting something. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, this much is enough, I guess. Anyways, this much is done. Reduce the blood intensity. I switch to alpha 23. Just pick spray, not colors. I'm just gonna pick spray. Oh yeah, Z sub is still on, I forgot. Again, throw off bloodstains right on top of these. Now, these won't actually etch inside the skin. Like that. Yeah, you see, it does give some fake blood consistency, just like normal maps and the paint, like this plain paint, it does the rest. Like giving it more surface, you will see, because this is the most detailed area. I'm just gonna add these freckles of blood right on top. Yeah, makes it look better. You see, these cover up and it also has a little bit of fake depth. Again, you can paint it in any way you like. You really don't have to cover up how I'm doing the blood paint. Yeah, I know the paint does not look that good, but the mask is okay. Like this is okay because my previous masks were more detailed. Again, you can do the same technique here as well. Hold shift and smoothen the blood out, like smear it. I'm gonna smear this one here on the forehead, like this. So it looks like as if he has actually smeared blood. And there you have it, a Jason Voorhees style mask. Just remember to turn the masking on so the inside still remains white and plain and the paint does not come on the other side. That was one mistake I made. But here you have it. Now you can actually just look for a reference picture on Google and do it, and ask for here, if my screen's being recording on Google, to add these red marks on the cheeks. You could just basically, well, create your own alpha map. I'll make a tutorial on that. Choose that alpha and choose the drag rectangle thing and just paste them like decals. Like, you could even import pictures from the internet. Like, let's say I actually need to add these as decals. See, the color is red. Make sure it's off, RGB is on. You see? Yeah, you could just drag those out. You could just look for that triangular shape or draw your own, import it into an alpha map, and then just drag them out like this anywhere you want. You could just add decals. And there you have it, how to make a Jason Voorhees style mask.